What is going on, everyone? Welcome into Big Time Football Talk. So I want to deep dive into NFL free agency. This has been there's been a lot of winners and losers from this. First one, the surprise of this whole thing is Kenny Galladay, former Detroit Lions wide receiver, not being signed yet. I think a lot of people had him as the best free agency or best free agent player, out there, and still one of the notables not signed. He was reportedly met with the Giants yesterday. I thought the Ravens would be a good fit for him, but we'll see. The Giants were a team that was interested during the season in trading for him. It was never discussed what went down between the Lions, what was offered. So it'll be interesting to see because, the Giants are a team that needs help on both sides of the ball. It's a team that's, lack for talent. They, haven't really had some big time playmakers on that side of the ball. Evan Ingram's solid when he's on the football field. But yeah, so Galladay to the Giants obviously would help that football team. But yeah, I think, as much as, Galladay sitting out was supposedly the hip injury, and Dave Wanstead was on the Herd, and he said, a lot of guys are free agents, really for a reason. If the team really wanted him, they would re-sign him. I think, Galladay, maybe the way he sat out and, said he was injured, I think that's kind of like a red flag. You see, Baltimore's a smart organization. Maybe that's why they're shying away. The Giants under Gettleman haven't always made some of the best decisions. You saw the Daniel Jones draft pick being one of them. So I think, maybe this is too much of the Giants staying with the theme of not making the best decisions necessarily in the short term and in the long term. But so watch the the New York Giants. Reportedly the Bengals had offered him something. So yeah, keep an eye on Kenny Galladay, still one of the most notable free agents out there. And the Chicago Bears. So big news yesterday, signed Andy Dalton to a base salary of $3 million, with a signing bonus of $7 million and a total cap hit of $10 million, which was what doesn't make sense here is they told him he was going to be the starting quarterback, which is if you're running a competitive team or you have a competitive program, whether it's college, NFL, you never tell a guy he's going to be the starter. That's just not good for your football team. And you have a guy like Nick Foles, who has won a Super Bowl with Philadelphia and has been one of the more respected backups and then starters throughout his career in the NFL. So to say that Dalton's going to be the guy and not even give Nick Foles a chance to compete for the job, that is just ridiculous. And now you have two guys with $17 million on the salary cap, and you also chose to release former Pro Bowl cornerback Kyle Fuller. Just doesn't make a lot of sense here. So we'll see what Andy Dalton can do. I've defended Andy Dalton at times, but he is who he is. When you look back on it, some of his best years in Cincinnati because they had a lot of talent around him. I mean, if you look at it, their offensive line was pretty good. That's when they had Whitworth, Zeitler. They had weapons at wide receiver. A lot of things had come into place in some of his most successful years in Cincinnati. And then I thought when he came in for Dallas this year with the weapons they have at receiver and, a solid offensive line, that he would do better than he did. He did not perform well. So very questionable signing with Nick Foles on the roster, saying he's the starter and then, not really believing in Dalton. I mean, I don't know. We'll see here. We'll see how that goes down. I'm just kind of puzzling there. And then especially, releasing Kyle Fuller, who's been a guy that's done a lot of great things on the defensive side of the ball for you at the cornerback position. So interesting, puzzling move for the Chicago Bears. And then, the next team, the New England Patriots, have just continued the the spending spree. More notably, you got Kyle Van Noy, linebacker who's played there before, had a good year for the Dolphins in 2020, and now have just accumulated a insane amount of talent with some of the more notables: Matt Judon, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, Jalen Mills, Devon Gottschall. Judon was a guy that was a very good pass rusher for the Baltimore Ravens last year, 10 sacks and went back and watched. He was just super disruptive and a guy that has really developed nicely as a true pass rusher. Hunter Henry is a guy that's dealt with a lot of injuries, but when he's healthy, you know what he's capable of. Jonnu Smith is one of the more physical, competitive tight ends in the NFL. And, Belichick loves having the two tight ends. Remember Aaron Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski back there? They're going to run some two tight end sets, it looks like. Jalen Mills, Devon Godshaw. Jalen Mills, one of the better defensive backs. They're not one of the best. I wouldn't say one of the best, but has been a very solid competitive safety for the Philadelphia Eagles. Devon Godshaw has had some injuries, but when he's been healthy, he's been pretty disruptive and a very, very solid defensive tackle for the Miami Dolphins. And they also, Trent Brown, they also acquired through trade with the Ravens. Yeah, and then Cam Newton too, back for another 1-year deal. It's kind of just seeing if Cam Newton's got anything left in the tank. Did not have a very good year in 2020, but we'll see if he can rebound this year. And everything's in place for him. The defense better, and he's got him some more weapons to work with. So really a no excuse year for Cam Newton, and we'll see if they can make a playoff run here with the accumulated amount of talent that Belichick's bringing in, especially with Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. Miami, and the Dolphins, CBS Sports had winners, losers. Miami Dolphins, obviously a big winner in this case, getting Will Fuller, one of the fastest wide receivers in the NFL, is a guy that's for sure a big play, deep threat. And, if that was if there was a weakness on the Dolphins last year, sure, it certainly wasn't the defense. If there was a weakness on the Dolphins roster, it was, wide receiver Devontae Parker, really the main man there. And now you get another guy that is can take some pressure off Parker and be a deep threat. Getting Will Fuller on a 1-year deal is a huge win for the Miami Dolphins, and getting another weapon for Tua or whoever plays quarterback for the Dolphins next year. Oh, they also added Jacoby Brissett too, a guy that's mostly been a backup, but started he started about a full year for the Colts, and they played pretty well. So, yeah, the Dolphins is a team that really really excites me. And then this year in the draft, you could go get you a quarterback. You could trade back. There's a chance for the Dolphins with the 2 first-round picks, and then the potential for a team to give them a good haul for that 3rd overall pick this year. The Dolphins are in a very good place heading into the draft and then heading into the 2021 season. So, yes, and then a puzzling move by the Raiders getting Kenyan Drake. Kenyan Drake, one of the faster running backs in the NFL, has had some high moments, especially with the Dolphins, and then, but yeah, $14.5 million, and you already have Josh Jacobs. I think what this boils down to, when you watch the Raiders, they don't always make Josh Jacobs the workhorse. I think they're afraid of him getting hurt. I think Kenyan Drake could be a good complement to Josh Jacobs, but that is a good amount of money. And like people said, the Raiders don't have a lot of glaring weaknesses. They don't. The way they're pretty solid at most positions. You look at the D line, Maurice Hurst, Max Crosby. I think Max Crosby is going to have a big year next year. And they've addressed the cornerback position, Damon Arnett last year. Linebacker play has got to be better. But, yeah, you don't look without glaring weaknesses. They said, why not maybe try to get an explosive playmaking running back that you can get involved in the passing game, another weapon for Derek Carr, and, a guy that can take some pressure off Josh Jacobs and not have to be the complete workhorse there. So, Yeah, the other winner, Mitchell Trubisky. If this is like Jared Goff coming to the Lions with not a lot to work with, and I said that's kind of a wake-up call. This is really kind of a wake-up call for Mitch Trubisky, a chance to learn from Josh Allen, just $2.5 million deal. A chance maybe, and if he comes in and mop-up duty, Josh Allen gets hurt and he shines, maybe this is a chance for him to get another job elsewhere and have a chance to compete and show that he has improved and could be an NFL quarterback and a starting one. So good opportunity here, and you could use Trubisky. You could bring in Trubisky for some special plays. Has the ability to roll out and make plays on the run. So we'll see how that goes down in Buffalo. And then bottom line, the Bills got them a solid backup in Trubisky. So yeah, and then the college football, some of the notable 40 times. Justin Fields popped off a 4.41, which is super impressive. Because I thought he could run fast, but I thought he may not run as fast at the time. I thought he might be in like the low 4.5s, which is still phenomenal. But 4.4 is just incredible. And he said he wants to run a 4.3 at his pro day for Ohio State, which would just be incredible. So big win for Justin Fields. Paris Ford, the safety for Pittsburgh, had a disappointing pro day. It was like a 4.8, 4.9 40, which is not very good. And it makes you wonder if that number is even accurate, because I don't know how you are one of the top safeties in college football running a 4.9. So, and his vertical jump and some of those other numbers were not very, or in the one percentile at the bottom. So very puzzling numbers there. So we'll see how if it comes out, if those maybe weren't very accurate. But yeah, some of the other times were super impressive that guys had ran. So yeah, Eric Stokes, the 4.25. So pull up some of the other times here. But yeah, it's kind of weird with after I was very trustworthy of some of these 40 times at these Exos combines. It seems like these guys have timed these guys before, or timed prospects last year, like Isaiah Simmons, the one guy that timed Parsons this year, and they were pretty accurate. But after seeing Paris Ford's numbers and a few other guys, it's a little bit questionable. So, but yeah, I guess we'll see. Pro day numbers usually are a little bit better than the combine numbers, because I think a lot of times, I'm not sure. I think Georgia was using laser time, but I think some of them use the hand time. So it'll be interesting to see what exactly they're going by there. But yeah, Fields running the 4.4, and it's just super good. And now people are. I think now he might go back to, is Justin Fields the number 2 quarterback? Is he going to the Jets? It's funny how that keeps flipping that narrative. After the national title game, he was, or before the national title game, I think most people had him penciled in as maybe the number 2, and then didn't have the best game in the national title game, and has slipped down the number 3rd, 4th, and even by Chris Sims the 5th quarterback overall. So. Yeah, that was something I wanted to touch on. Some of those, his pro day time, and some of the in the time of Ford, some of them very good, and some of them not very good. So I just wanted to touch on that. But yeah, free agency is really heating up. It's very exciting time of the year as we keep getting the free agency signings leading up to the NFL draft. So yeah, just super fun times, and Patriots with a great opportunity to do something in kind of one last hurrah for Belichick as he's getting up there in age. So, yeah, Judon, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, Jalen Mills highlight some of the insane amount of talent they've really brought in. And yeah, it's funny with free agency because there's teams with a lot of money and then there's teams with not a lot of money. The Patriots are a team that had quite a bit of money in a year that coming off of COVID with the salary cap a little bit down, so they just paid for some good players. And who knows, maybe the Patriots will make a push for Kenny Galladay too. So yeah, that'll be a development. People are gonna really be excited to see. Yeah, also the Browns getting John Johnson is a big one. Grant Delpit should be healthy from injury last year. That was a downer seeing him get hurt before the season. I thought Grant Delpit was a guy that would step in. I thought he was going to be a rookie that would make an impact year one because didn't have the best year his last year in 2019 at LSU, but a guy that's super talented and just is a playmaker. Yeah, John Johnson. Bottom line for the Rams, I think they wanted to sign him, obviously, but they drafted Jordan Filler from Ohio State who made an impact for him last year as a rookie, and then they also had Taylor Rapp too. So just Sean McVay talked about in Hard Knocks, that was their safety group is one of the best in the NFL. So you get John Johnson and Grant Delpit healthy, and that and Denzel Ward already there. Corner of the Browns secondary could become the strength of their team. So I like that. Trey Hendrickson, the DN who had a big year for the Saints, got signed by the Cincinnati Bengals, 4 years, $60 million. The Bengals are a team that really needs help on the defensive side of the ball. Lost Carlos Dunlap, and you got Jesse Bates at safety. Other than that, it's their talent is really lacking on that side of the ball. So get Hendrickson. You got Sam Hubbard, who's been pretty solid. See if you can get after the quarterback. Giants paid up for Leonard Williams. The Giants, they have some talent on that defensive line, and yeah, Leonard Williams, it's a guy that's been productive for him. So why not pay him there? So don't fault the move there. Kevin Zeitler to the Baltimore Ravens, a veteran offensive lineman who's played with Cincinnati. He's been in the division, and also played with the Browns. Comes over to try to help that Baltimore Ravens line that doesn't really need a help. It's already been pretty solid. You got Ronnie Stanley, one of the best tackles in football, and Orlando Brown there, the guy they recently drafted. So help even boost a strength of the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, and then there's a lot of rumbling about the quarterback Davis Mills from Stanford. A lot of people, Chris Sims was one. I think Daniel Jeremiah has tweeted. A lot of people have went back and watched his tape and have really liked what they've seen out of Davis Mills from Stanford. He's a guy that's played pretty well, former guy that was pretty highly recruited, and could be one of the sleepers and mid-round guys that a team takes in the draft, and he comes in and maybe could compete for the starting job if that's a team, say the Washington football team, or Chicago Bears with Andy Dalton and Nick Foles. Not a sure thing by any means. And who else is quarterback hungry? Maybe the New Orleans Saints. They signed, the Saints. I don't know. I think Jameis Winston could do well with the Saints with everything in place. He's kind of a guy that when you have all the pieces around him, he should be, fine to plug in. But not really a full believer because of his, questionable decision making and his just really poor turnovers at times. So, Yeah, I don't think that's a sure thing. Taysom Hill's a guy they'll use the way they use Taysom Hill normally. Have him come in for special run plays and special throws and maybe some RPOs and whatnot. But yeah, I'm not a full believer necessarily in Winston or Taysom Hill with all the talent around him. I think Winston could get them to the playoffs and maybe get them, maybe, very possibly get them to the Super Bowl. But that is, yeah. So yeah, exciting times. Yeah, make sure to watch the Pro Bowls or the Pro Days. It's going to be exciting, and I'm really looking forward to more of those coming up soon. I think Ohio State's is coming up. I think Alabama's is next week. I think March 23rd, I believe. So yeah, Patrick Surtain, one of the guys that ran a pretty good time. Reportedly, he was in the 4.4s. So yeah, I really pay attention to the 40, and it's very I'm just curious to see because a lot of guys look fast on tape and then they don't run well. So I'm just really curious to see if kind of like what you saw kind of matches up with the time. So yeah. So thanks for tuning in, guys, to this episode. Make sure to stay tuned for the latest episodes and clips from the show. Till next time, peace.